Howdy, folks. It's the Creepy Kentuckian here with you from DEADPIT Radio. Today is a video that I've been looking forward to making for nearly a year. As a lot of you folks know that's listened to the radio show over the years, if you've checked out some of these live streams that we've done over the last couple of years, you would realize that we are gigantic fanboys of Anchor Bay Entertainment. In fact, it was the very first DVD label that I ever started collecting back in the day. I would look for the little sailboat on the side of the case, anything Anchor Bay Entertainment, no matter what genre, aside from like Thomas the Tank Engine. I didn't get that. But I would purchase pretty much all of these, all the genre stuff. They had some really weird sci-fi stuff as well. Over the years, man, got to know some people with the original label. Michael Felcher's been on the show numerous times. Just a lot of great memories with that company. And when I heard in February that this label was being revived, I just started marking out. I didn't know exactly what the plans were, what they were going to do with the label, but the silent death that Anchor Bay Entertainment had in 2017 when it was kind of dissolved into Lionsgate, that was just uncalled for, man. Anchor Bay been around in one form or the other really since the 80s. If you guys remember Video Treasures, right? I think that was one of the early incarnations of Anchor Bay. Star Maker, kind of like a budget VHS label, developed into Anchor Bay, really the first boutique label of its kind. Amazing editions back in the day. Everyone was a mark for the sailboat, right? But now, thanks to Thomas Zambek and Brian Katz, they brought the label back, and through MVD, they're working on some new releases, man. And this Tuesday, they are releasing their trilogy of terror, if you will. And we're going to talk about each of these movies today. I have watched all of them. Now, with this new label, from what I understand, they're showcasing more along the lines of independent horror movies, and some documentaries and stuff a little bit later on down the line, which hopefully we'll be talking about that as well. But just the fact that the company is back, and Brian and Thomas both worked for Anchor Bay Entertainment back in the glory days, and I really appreciate the fact that they are bringing Anchor Bay back. It is back, baby. And for the first time in 7+ years, we have new Anchor Bay Entertainment Blu-ray disc, baby. We're going to take a look at them. We're going to go through them all. I watched all three. I'm going to give you an honest opinion on these and which one was my favorite, which one was my least favorite. So first one up, we're going to take a look at one of their very first announcements of titles, Abruptio. This one's directed by Evan Marlowe. Definitely a lower budget independent puppet horror movie. It's a little different, right? Look there. Look at that. Look at that. And this is the only one that has a slip cover with it. And if you take the slip cover off, there's I think that was the poster art. And the tagline is, "Everyone's puppet." That's true. That's kind of true. So let's take a look and see who's pulling strings in this one. Abruptio from 2023 features middle-aged Lester Hackle. He's a loser. He works a job that he hates. He has a bitch of a girlfriend that recently dumped him, and he is still, at 35 years of age, living with his parents. He does kind of enjoy hanging with his best pal, Danny, oddly enough voiced by Jordan Peele, until a tragedy occurs. Both Danny and Les notice a fresh incision on the back of their necks. Les begins to hear the voices in his head telling him to do evil tasks. If not, the bomb that they inserted in the back of his skull is going to explode and make a big mess. More and more acts are called upon Lester, that he must carry out in order to stay alive. Meanwhile, he's trying to find the identity of the mastermind behind these devious acts. Abruptio is odd. It's a very weird movie, very well made. Some of it's live action, a lot of it's with these latex, real doll looking puppet things. And it's just very odd. It's one of the strangest movies. This was kind of a dark comedy, I think. Very original. The art design on this is fantastic. That is Abruptio. Release number 2 for Make or Break Entertainment is the directorial debut from Jeff Daniel Phillips. This is Crust in Baja. Jeff Daniel Phillips is in like all of the Rob Zombie movies over the last 10 years at least or so. And a lot of you guys definitely recognize him. I think most recently he was Herman Munster in Rob Zombie's The Munsters. But yeah, he's been an actor for many years, and this is the directorial debut from Jeff Daniel Phillips. So in this movie, he went with questions, but the answers nearly killed him. Crust in Baja. Jeff Daniel Phillips also stars in the movie as Pirelli. He's an ex-cop recovering addict and a current janitor who is a former private investigator. He's been brought back into the mix of investigating by this wealthy family who need help tracking down their missing son, who is the sole heir of their $1 million fortune. Pirelli is actually the second PI who's been hired on the case, and the first seemed to disappeared while deep in the Baja in Mexico. Will Pirelli find out what's going on? Where is this boy? And what will he find along the way? Will he survive? Or is he cursed in Baja? And in this one too, some fun cameos. If you were a fan of Terror Tin Killer, there is actually a cameo from a Terror Tin Killer alumni. I marked the hell out. Beautifully shot, this one is. I will say that Kirsten Baja is better than the last couple of Rob Zombie films that Jeff Daniel Phillips starred in. This one was kind of fun, guys. This was kind of like a Quentin Tarantino throwback sort of movie. Definitely has some horror elements, though, in it as well. But this one's just pretty damn good. It's pretty fun little movie. I'm definitely interested in seeing what Jeff Daniel Phillips could do as a filmmaker as the years go on. Possibly he could get a bigger budget and do some pretty memorable stuff. This one could possibly be a future cult classic if it finds its audience. One of the quotes on the back says, "This is a handmade fever dream." It does feel that way. This is like one of those, dreams that you wake up from in a puddle of your own sweat, and you're like, wow, what the hell's going on here? That is Kirsten Baja. And so that is release number 2. Release number 3 is probably my favorite of the 3. This one is just so out there. It's more along the lines of a dark comedy. It's another directorial debut from an actor that has been around for 30 plus years in a variety of films, Sean Whalen. And there's been a lot of buzz about this movie, so I was excited to check out Crust. We're going to take a look at it, guys. What is this movie? Is it as wild and crazy as everyone is saying? Let's take a look at Crust. In Crust, Sean Whalen plays Paul. He's a former child star who is now running and living in this rundown, dilapidated laundromat. Feels sorry for himself. What little pleasure he gets from life comes from squirting in a sock. When he was a kid, he was famous for this show called Baker's Dozen or whatever. but he's kind of laying low from that. He's kind of sick of the limelight, if you will. Likes to keep his whereabouts kind of unknown. Likes to lay low. That is until an embarrassing video where he is the star becomes viral. Everyone knows where Paul is now, aka Vegas Winters was his stage name. He starts to go viral. His name's getting more and more out there. They're looking at doing a reimagining of Baker's Dozen. Paul's life starts to get even more haywire. Just when you think you know what sort of movie this is, along comes this sock monster, which is made out of a pile of violated DNA-covered socks that Paul has had his way with. And almost like a man's best friend sock monster to Paul, aka Vegas, who he decides to name Crust. And all the people that have been mean to Paul throughout the movie are going to get their comeuppance with this giant sock monster by the name of Crust. This is a wild movie, guys. This one is shot black and white, very well made. It's definitely dark comedy, drama, a lot of great performances in this. Sean Whalen does a fantastic job in this, man, he's just been in so much stuff. I don't even want to start naming it. But yeah, everyone recognizes this guy. People Under the Stairs is the first movie that everyone pretty much references with him. But as far as a breakout performance here, on screen and off screen as the director, man, he's got to be really proud of this. I think that this, of the three, this is the best movie in my opinion. I had a lot of fun with this. The Crust sock monster creature, it reminded me of Flory from Pee-wee's Playhouse. Used to watch as a kid. I don't know if that's what they were going for there. Probably not, but it kind of reminded me of that. Crust is more along the lines of like a dog or something, like a pet that gets jealous and just attacks the people that are mean to Paul. There's also some great supporting actors in this movie. Dan Roebuck is in this, who's always fantastic. You have a brief appearance from Alan Ruck, who a lot of people remember from Ferris Bueller's Day Off, one of my favorites. Felissa Rose is in this as kind of a crazy ex-girlfriend. And independent actress Rebecca Kennedy is in this as well. She's great in everything that I've ever seen her in. Fantastic job. So this one's a lot of fun, guys. I enjoyed this one the most out of the three, but to be honest with you, I enjoyed all three of these movies. These are newer independent films. I know that these may not be everyone's thing, but I think it's great that Thomas and Jeff are bringing this company back in some form, and I'm interested in seeing some future releases from these guys. Anchor Bay Entertainment, boys, it is back. There's 3 brand new releases that come out on Tuesday. Check all of them out, guys, and be sure to check us out. We are over at DeadPit.com. I want all these people to click everything they're supposed to click.
You haven't been liking them, you haven't been subscribing to them, you haven't clicked the bell or notification or anything like that.
Folks, why don't you click the like button?
Do you hate us? Do you not want to see us succeed?
Why don't you click the heart button?
Is this something that you have against our particular show?
Why don't you subscribe?
You should click on one of them buttons right now if you want us to continue to breathe greatness into your life.
There's all kinds of wonderful shirts over at shop.deadpit.com. Simply the best horror shirts. On TeePublic, there are others, but they all suck. You can get some Dead Pit Radio shirts. You can get Last South on the Left. The Hills Have Eyes. Texas Chainsaw. Oh, wait, you can't say Texas Chainsaw. All kinds of shirts, folks. You're gonna love them. Shop.deadpit.com.
Special thanks goes out to our supporters on Patreon. You know what kind of stuff you can get on Patreon, Uncle Bill, starting at only $1 a month?
What's that?
Access to every Dead Pit show since 2005. We got almost 200 fan commentaries that we've done over the decades.
Here's what other fucking Patreons do. They're like, hey, give us money and then we'll let you see a video early that we're going to release like a fucking week from now, and then that's all we're going to give you. Meanwhile, we have a literal jukebox full of songs, thousands of reviews. I don't even know how many shows are up on there now that we've done over the years.
Hundreds of thousands.
You need to figure this out now and subscribe to us on Patreon and YouTube and Instagram and help us to 1 million. The road to 1 million subscribers starts today.
So deadpitonpatreon.com. Join today. Tiers start at only $1, but I'd recommend at least the $10 tier.
You can do 50. The stock market's crashing around us, folks, but send us money.